Hey guys, so this is Prince Jar Kenya back again today with another video. So in my TikTok video, there is this one video I made about Kenyans relocating in abroad, and I say that the reason to why most of us relocate to abroad is to find a greener pasture. The reason to why we relocate abroad is to find a better life than the one we have in our country, right? Because I believe there is not any single person or not many people who have a good life where they are, and then they decide to live their life, to go and hustle, to go and start from scratch, to go and start from zero to another different country. That thing doesn't happen. And if you see somebody living a good life, going to abroad to find another life, it's because maybe that person wanna dream high, wanna achieve high, and wanna achieve great, right? So they want to achieve great. That's why they. But most of us that live our life back in our country, right, and go to abroad to look for a better pasture, for a greener pasture, is because we are not doing very well in where we belong or where we came from. So myself, I found myself in the same scenario. I didn't have a good life. I was just surviving to live. Living, is it survival for life, right? And then I relocated abroad. I came in the US. But this is the biggest problem that affects so many people whenever they relocate abroad. Still, the reason that the fact that you left your country to fight for a greener pasture and to fight for a better life. You left your country to change your country. You left your people to change so that you can get opportunities and chances to change the situation back home. So when you go to abroad, it's not easy, right? Starting life abroad is not easy. Anybody can tell you abroad, especially if you don't have a godfather, especially if you don't have somebody holding your hand. And even if you have that somebody who is holding your hand, still some things you have to figure out by yourself, because they won't be there like 100% to fit in where, you know. So starting life in abroad is not easy, but things changes as time goes by. Somebody who has stayed here for long now, they are settled, they can tell you that I went through this, but right now I'm different, my situation is different, my story is different. So there are so many situations that most people give up or fail to give up, and then they start thinking of going back home. That's number one thing. So many people have relocated abroad, but the way they expect things to be, their expectation and reality is two different things. They find themselves in a situation that it's not what they thought it wanna be, and then they start thinking of home. They start thinking it's better for me to pack my everything and go home. You know, situation like that happen. Case number two, yes, they go abroad. Life in abroad most time is work, and before you work again and work again and work again and pay bills, because here it's not optional. Like here in the US, it's not option for you to work or not. You have to work to pay bills. You have to work to pay your car. You have to work to pay for the house. Or else, if you don't work to pay for the house and nobody who is hosting you, you end up homeless. There is no option, right? There is no option here. So you have to work. So most people find themselves in that lonely life of work, home. They don't have fun. The only friends they have, sometimes they are also busy, because like myself here, I have friends, but they have different schedule. They have tight schedule. I have my schedule too, so sometimes the schedule don't go together. So when they are free, I am working. When I'm working, they are free. So you find yourself being lonely in abroad, and you start thinking of home. And then your mind tells you, you know what? Yes, you have stayed here. Instead of being lonely here, just save some little money and then go back your home and visit. I'm talking about visiting your home. Now you just came abroad the other day, and then you buy the ticket and go back to, let me give an example of going back to Kenya, where I come from. So when I came in America, I found myself in the same scenario. Just 1 year in America, I haven't done anything. I haven't bought even a chicken, a goat, or a sheep in my country. I haven't done anything, right? And then I was there, I bought a ticket because I miss home, because I miss my family, because I miss my friend, because I miss my life. I'm lonely in America. The life abroad is so lonely. So let me go back home and visit, at least to relieve myself and to refresh myself and to have a social life. So I bought a ticket and I was about to go home. And then one of my friends, who is a very great friend, talked to me and told me, I saw that you are going home, right? What have you done home? What are you going to do? Do you have any investment? No. Do you have anything? No. You just left the country the other day. Has anything changed in your country? No. Is it an emergency leave? No. So who's the biggest reason that is making you to go home? So I told him that I'm going home because I miss home, right? I miss my family, I miss my friend. But he told me this, and this is the reason to why I have made this video. That this is the biggest reason, the biggest mistake people do. You come abroad, you came abroad to fight for a greener pasture, to change the situation back home, or to change your life, right? And then here you have the opportunity, you have time, but again you start misusing the money, you start misusing the time, you start misusing the chances, remembering the thing that you left, remembering the broken life that you left, going back to the same life, having done nothing, totally nothing, zero nothing, right? And then he told me, why don't you give yourself some time and then settle down first? At least by the time you are going home, you have settled abroad, and you are going to do something in Kenya, right? So at first I thought maybe this person don't want me go home, but after long, that's when I sat down and thought what he told me is true, and I had to cancel my flight ticket, and I didn't go home after 1 year, right? So he told me, like, see myself. He went back in his country, Nigeria, after 4 years. But after four years, he was a citizen of America because he's a military. Because getting a citizenship is after 5 years, but for military is less than a year. So he was a military. He had built a house back in Nigeria, and in America he had a stable job. He had already enrolled in school and stuff. So he was already settled in America, and in Nigeria he went to do something. So even by the moment he went to see his family, he did not just go to see his family empty-handed or just to give them empty eyes, right? So my advice to you guys is that whenever you come abroad, please don't just be in a hurry to go back home to see your friend, to see your family. I know you miss them, but you can talk in form. Nothing has changed about them. There is no emergency. Please take your time to settle down in that country. Take your time at least to invest back home. Take your time at least to do something here in America, or here in abroad, or back in where you came from, like in Kenya. Otherwise, if you just go home, let me show you the biggest problem of going home. I want to give a good example of here in America. You are employed here in America, right? If you take a leave, like a month leave to go home, most jobs doesn't pay you. It's for that leave. It's unpaid leave. Most of the jobs, that's how it happens here in America. So, which means you won't get that paid that month. Another thing, you have to pay bills before you leave home. You have to pay for your house. You have to pay for a car if you have a car. You have to pay for insurance. You have to pay for the bills before you leave to go home, right? Another, because if you don't pay bills and then you come back, you don't have any money, and the bills are waiting on you, it's gonna affect your life terribly. Another thing is that month you are not paid. If you would be here, you would be working, right? Which means you would get some money to put in saving, to put in investment. When you go back home, you are spending money because flight ticket is expensive. Once you go back home, you're gonna spend money with your friends, spend money with your family, spend money. So you are, instead of saving your money, instead of saving your time, instead of saving all those, you are using them thinking that you have the whole time in the world to settle down, right? Why don't you take your time to save that money, to save that time, settle down fast, have something, settle in America, settle in abroad, and then do something back home, invest home, and then after a couple of years, whenever you think now you are settled in abroad, it's not must to be settled 100%, but whenever you think now you are good to go, your life is not from zero, you are not from zero or from one, at least you are somewhere. And then at least you have done something home. Or else, at least that time you can feel proud of paying a flight and going back home. So please don't let loneliness in abroad take you back home. Please don't let excitement take you back home for a show off. Please don't let all those things just make you to go back home. Please take your time, settle fast in abroad, take a couple of time. If there is nothing that happened back home, if there is no emergency, just talk to your family through phone, and then it's gonna be okay. So that the time that you go back home, whether you are going back to live forever, things won't be the same like the way you left. Whether you are going to visit, but at least you're gonna see the difference in that place you are going, because you have done something, or you are going to do something. And when you come back in the same abroad, at least you won't start from scratch or from zero. So God bless you, God be with you, and bye bye.